EAGLES, Eagles.
Welcome in, everybody, to a Monday edition of Birds 365. It's officially a football week. Here is the Eagles report to training camp tomorrow. J-Mac, they're on the football field on Wednesday, and we're 45 days away from the season and opener. Johnny Mac, how you doing on this Monday morning, brother?
Gearing up. It's anxiety season. Yeah, started training camp. Reigning Super Bowl champs will report tomorrow, be on the field Wednesday morning, and it's almost, pseudo football. Can't put the pads on yet, but almost pseudo football.
Yeah, no doubt about it. How was your final weekend? I got some good stories from the weekend I'd like to share. Anything you got into, Johnny Mac, on your final weekend of freedom?
No freedom. Mine has already started up. Too much preparation, but no. No.
So I was down at the NASCAR event, Johnny Mac, with garage and pit access, baby, with my boy Gary, one of our great supporters here on JAKIB. I think I saw Gary in the chat already today. Let me look for him. Where is he?
Yeah, Jeff Kerr was supposed to be there, but he didn't.
I got to talk to him. Well, Jeff will be on the show a little later on. But Dirty Air, this is Gary. He checks in and says, saw the rings yesterday with my own eyes. Huge. They are huge. So Big Don was there. N'Kobe Dean was there. Jahad Campbell was there. There was a couple other Eagles in attendance yesterday for the NASCAR. But unbelievable event, John. And I just wanted to publicly thank my boy Gary for sending me and my brother out to that. It was super cool. Super good access. I love cars, John. So I'm up close with these crazy cars, and watch the event actually right behind the team operator, basically. They got all the screens in front of them, and they're looking at all the data and the engineering. So it was a really cool experience for me as my final weekend until the season kicks off, Johnny Mac. So I had a good weekend, bro.
Glad to see you have fun. Now, Jeff was supposed to go. Martin Frank was there. Mr. Delaware, so he was there, and he took a picture of Jeff Kerr's credential, which evidently was not picked up. So we'll have to get that explanation from Jeff.
Yeah, we'll have to look at that. Good stuff there. Speaking of the rings, before we get into our training camp talk, we'll talk to Jeff Kerr later on today. But John, the Eagles got their rings on Friday night in what was a upper class ceremony for the team. Looked pretty awesome, the event. I think it was at some place called the Ballers.
Ballers at the Battery.
Ballers at the Battery. That's where it was. So, John, what do you think of the rings, man? You had some thoughts pre-show. Those are some big rings, Johnny Mac.
Jake Elliott's the one. It's interesting you mentioned Gary's got to see them up close. So that means that Big Dom or N'Kobe or Jihad had them. So I'm like
Big Dom, I think, at least Big Dom, because I saw it on Big Dom as well.
Yeah. I mean, look, they're beautiful. Don't get me wrong, but who's wearing that thing on a daily basis? Like, if I win a championship back in the old days, and again, I'm old, you put on the damn ring and you wear it everywhere and you're proud. Who's wearing that thing on a daily basis? I mean, basically, I joked, I wrote about, Andre the Giant-sized hands with armed security because all the bling on there. You got to worry about that. Dom's not worried about that, but the average person's got to worry about that. So they're beautiful, all that kind of stuff, but man, they're big. And it's like, it's more like a trophy. So just put it up on your mantle and be done with it. So yeah, I mean, it's great for the fans, and the Eagles are having a sweepstakes, and somebody can win an exact replica with their name on it. That's the real McCoy, so to speak, to raise funds for their autism foundation. So all that stuff is good, and this is just the nature of it. You always want to outdo yourself. But guys who have two, like Jake Elliott and Rick Lovato and people like that, they had them both on, and the difference in size is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
I'm like,
they're like double, John. Big Dom had both on, yeah.
To me, it's like a trophy more than a ring, which is fine, But hey, Big Dom had it out. He's close to on.
Yeah, Big Dom was rocking it. It was a pretty sick looking ring. The event looked pretty awesome too for the team. AJ was all fired up. You could tell Jalen was happy. Jalen didn't put his on, John. Any truth to the conspiracies that Jalen is not putting it on because he is hungry for more, or is he in the Johnny Mac camp of this thing is a trophy? I'm not putting this thing on.
Well, I haven't talked to him yet. I'll talk to him this week at some point. I'm sure he'll get asked that goofy question. It'll be a TV question, but I don't know. I saw a picture of him with the ring. I don't know if that was his old ring. I wasn't paying that much attention. I looked at it real quick, but maybe it was his old ring. I don't know. If he's got that mentality, great. But he's also very savvy, PR savvy. So that's what he wants out there. And he wants to win. That doesn't change. But to me, not putting on the ring is not all that meaningful other than, for a number of reasons. Pretty ostentatious. Maybe maybe he just doesn't want to wear it outside.
People do love that stuff. Look, here's a look at the difference in the two. Gary just sent me this. So Dirty Air sends this. This is the picture he got yesterday. I think that's Big Dom there with his nice watch on. Yeah, that's basically double, John. That is basically double.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the Eagles sent out all the info a lot. That to me, that's the coolest part because the guy they didn't the first one, they Jostens made it, which is everybody probably knows from their freaking high school or college class rings or whatever. I mean, they've been doing rings forever. This was from Jason in Beverly Hills. That's what he calls his business. So they went all out. And to me, like there's interesting sort of nuggets. Like there's 145 diamonds, which celebrate the points scored in the playoffs, which is, an NFL postseason record, things like that. The world champions, 40 points of diamonds, which is the 40 points in the Super Bowl. So stuff like that to me is cool to honor because it's you put on stuff that means something to what was accomplished.
Exactly. The Eagles put out like a little infographic with that where they have it's all in the details.
Yeah. So, all the details are very thought about. It's amazing that, they can make things like this. Jason, forget his last name. I'll look it up, but so all that kudos, but damn that thing. It's like, you're not wearing that around. I mean, the old guys, some of the Steelers of those guys had they put those rigs on. They didn't take them off. You couldn't win as many as they won, but you get the point. And it was more to me. That means more, but whatever. It's cool. It's expensive and it's worth something. So,
no doubt about it. Jeffrey Lurie definitely balled out.
I mean, that's one of the things. And you mentioned the battery, ballers at the battery, which by the way, Malcolm Jenkins partially financed that. Tyrese Maxey partially financed that. But, I couldn't talk about that last week because of security. They were concerned about security. People know you're getting these Super Bowl rings. People know what they are.
Right.
So they didn't want it out in the public, which I understood.
Yeah, absolutely.
So couldn't talk about it from that standpoint. But, if you're wearing that thing out, people still know. They know about the 145 diamonds and all this stuff. So anyway, very big. Very big was my reaction.
Yeah. Oh, it is very big. I got one more question on the ring, and I want everybody in the chat to partake as well. And if you're watching after the show or listening on the podcast, comment somewhere because I gotta get the responses on these. I have a feeling they're all going to go one way, but I did hear something from my boy Gary yesterday, and I'm like, wait a second, I gotta ask that question. John, I'll ask you, and everybody in the chat, you can answer as well. Do you like the wings feature? The expanding wings that says then once they expand under it, it says you can't be great without the greatness of others.
I like the inscription. I don't like the expanding wings. No, I don't. Like if you're talking, no, why? It's goopy. No. Does
I didn't think
anybody
you would
know
like
me
it.
who think I would like the
No, I
expanded
didn't think
wings?
you would like it at all. I didn't think you would like it, but I'm thinking, I'm listening to my boys.
I'm sure the fans love it.
Yeah, well, some do. Well, listen, Gary said to me yesterday, he's like, I don't know, was it a little tacky? And I'm like, it's not a bad take. The one thing I would say about it would be, is it chintzy? Like, you know how, John, you hate gimmicks? It's like you get this big championship ring. Is that thing going to be broken in 10 years?
Well,
like, I don't know.
That's the first thing I thought about.
Yeah, it's breaking.
Like if you start pushing that button 100 times a day, is it going to break? And then all of a sudden you got to send it back to Jason in Beverly Hills and get it fixed. And yeah, I'm with Gary. If he called it tacky, good. That's a better word. I didn't want to go that far, but it is pretty tacky. Yeah. But again, is it real? It's jewelry, but it's not really jewelry. It's obviously it's not made for consistent wearing. It's more of a trophy. So if you look at it as a trophy, it's pretty cool. If you want to wear it out to dinner, it's ostentatious and tacky and all that stuff.
It is the cool ring, though. I do like it. I just wanted to run that question by everybody. I appreciate everybody for being here, by the way. The Eagles season is here, baby. All right, so we're on the Birds Report tomorrow. They have their first practice of training camp on Wednesday, and then we are 45 days out, everybody, from the home opener for the Philadelphia Eagles. They are kicking off the NFL season, obviously, as they won the Super Bowl, as we just talked about with the ring. So they will be the first game of the year, taking on the Dallas Cowboys at home in 45 days from now. John, with camp kicking off, the players reporting tomorrow, what's on your mind as we head into training camp? We're going to talk to Jeff Kerr. We'll break down some of the camp battles, some of the things coming up. I got one sleeper battle I don't think we've talked about enough that I want to discuss. But your thoughts as we come into training camp on this week?
Yeah, I kind of gave my final thought, and I wrote about it over the weekend. And part of it was highlighted by the ring ceremony, which was supposed to be in June, right before the end of minicamp, but they had to push it back because the rings weren't done. And now that you've seen the rings, you know why the rings weren't done on time. So I thought it was more of a demarcation line this time to do it Friday before training camp. Obviously, hopefully you can celebrate it one last time. But and a bunch of guys who are no longer here, we're back. Isaiah Rodgers, as he mentioned, was back, and Rick Lovato was back, and CJ said he was coming. I didn't see any CJ pictures, so I don't know if he did end up coming. But anyway,
I saw a picture of him. Yeah, he was
all right. Yeah, he said he was coming, so I assumed he was, but I didn't see it. So it was cool to get a bunch of those guys back to celebrate what they accomplished. But boy, it's not purposeful by any stretch of the imagination. I think one of the strengths of the Philadelphia Eagles is that at their core, they want to win more than the vast majority of teams in this league. But if everything is the same from a monetary standpoint, everything's the same. And they still have the looming, everybody played the way they played. And they still have the looming big contract extensions coming up with the younger players, but they lost the Super Bowl. Does anybody think they're not trying to seize the moment? They're not trying to make a splash. They're not trying to trade for Myles Garrett early in the process or Trey Hendrickson now. Even if they can't get that done, to bring in a Von Miller, to bring in a Justin Simmons. Does anybody believe that? Because I don't. And I don't think it's purposeful at all. But I think that's what Nick Sirianni talks about, handling success. There's a bunch of ways. It's human nature to breathe a sigh of relief. We got it done.
Right.
It's human nature. You're battling human nature, which is maybe the toughest battle at all. So, and by the way, I don't even disagree with their plan.
Yeah, right. I agree. I agree with it for sure because I don't think running it back would have been the right solution either.
Well, you can't run it back. Number
Right.
one, and I'm not saying because it's not possible. There's just too
Yeah,
much
but you're
turnover.
saying they also didn't make any splash moves or
Yeah.
anything like that.
There are 12 free agents. Not one of them got more than $3.5 million, and even that's overblown. It's really $3 million. Does anybody believe that's the case if they lose that game?
Well, do you think the degree to which they won the game impacted those
Oh,
off-season?
sure.
I mean,
Sure.
if you think about it, John, it's a "what have you done for me lately" world. The Eagles crushed their final two
They
opponents.
did.
You
They
know what I
did.
mean?
And that's the human nature aspect of
Right.
it. And if you want to go all the way back to 52, so everything stays the same, except they become more of a Buffalo team where they've made 3 Super Bowls, but they lost them all. And everything stays the same as far as the players' performance and things like that. They are tripping over themselves to take advantage of this window this season, tripping themselves. So again, it's human nature. It's not purposeful. I'm not trying to say they're not trying to win, but it's just exactly that. And it might be their biggest hurdle of this entire season. Not on the field, nothing to do, nebulous, intangible, so people don't like it. There's no stat. How do you fight human nature? How do you fight the human nature of satisfaction? Because they acted like a satisfied organization. And by the way, they should be. I don't dispute any of it. I don't dispute the business plan other than they're satisfied.
Yeah, but even if you're satisfied, you can make the right moves.
Yes.
I think I agree. I think they seem satisfied, but I don't know. Let's just run through what you said. If they lost that game and they did this, would you be saying these are the right moves, or would you be calling for more moves? Like, how would you view that?
Well, I wouldn't be upset if Myles Garrett was here. I wouldn't be upset if Trey Hendrickson was here. Would they be the right moves? Maybe not. Maybe not, because you're spending so much money, you're going to cost yourself in other areas. That's not my point. My point is not to say this is the way they should have done it. I'm saying it changes the way they act, and there's nothing you can do about it. Again, I go back all the way to 52. So if you're still 0-4, I mean, they are kicking and screaming and clawing to get a ring. That isn't going to be quite as ostentatious, but nonetheless, kicking and screaming and clawing. Now I get the sentiment that it's like, well, if we don't get one this year, we'll get one next year, or we'll get one 2 years down the road. We'll get another one. Just might not be this year. I don't know how anybody, I'm sure everybody will argue, but if you're being real with yourself, I don't know how anybody could argue. There's no doubt that they feel comfortable to say we can reboot this thing and act the way they act in this offseason. Look at last year with Saquon and Bryce Huff, even though Bryce Huff didn't work. Splash, projected splash, money splash. Didn't work, but with Saquon it worked. But this year, your splashes are Azeez Ojulari and Adoree Jackson. Oh, we took 2 players away from the New York Giants, just like last year with Saquon. Yeah, I don't know how anybody could argue that fact. To me, it's obvious, but obviously, fans are fans. But
I can't say I'm as pessimistic about you as you sound right now about it, though, John. I hear what you're saying.
I don't even think it's bad, but
saying.
see, that's why I think fans will be upset. And you use the word pessimistic, whatever. I don't think I'm being pessimistic. I said I agree with what they did. But if you're looking at it in a 1-year window, they didn't optimize everything to win for this season. Which, by the way, again, if I were the GM, I'd do the same thing. because it's about more than the moment. But I'm saying in the moment, which again, let me clarify, I don't agree with to just do things in the moment, because I want to get Jalen Carter done. I want to be in a position to, if Nolan Smith hits a home run this offseason, and if Quignon in 2 years continues to play well, if Cooper in 2 years continues to play well, I want to be in a position to get those guys under. So I agree with everything Howie Roseman said. All I'm saying is, if they didn't win, they'd be acting differently. And I don't know how anybody can argue that.
I think that's the nature of the beast. I mean, you always when you win, you're going to act different than when you lose. I think that's just kind of how it goes,
Yeah, but that.
Yeah, it doesn't mean it can't
That's
have
human nature. They say that it's human nature.
Right.
Satisfaction. What Nick Sirianni's trying to fight against.
I don't know, man. I do see it a little different. I think partly the way they are required to act this way is because they've drafted and acquired so many good players in the last 4 years. I mean, they've never had a run of draft picks like this in the history of the franchise.
So,
and now you're set up with all these young guys
again,
who do
I
need
get it. But
and because they won it, here's where you're right. It certainly made it easier to not make a big splash move because they won. But that is the point. If they lost that game, which Eagles fans can't, they dominated. They don't want to think about them losing a game. If they lost that game, I think if everybody's being honest with themselves, they would not be happy with what went on this offseason. That's all I'm trying to say. Yeah, I just don't know what they could have done differently. I mean, the fact would be all the contracts are still coming up.
That's the part that they can manipulate. They chose to be disciplined. They actively chose, which again, I agree with, but it's a choice. If they really wanted Myles Garrett, and by the way, Cleveland never put him on the trade market. Andrew Berry was clear that we're not trading him. But they can get anybody they want if they really want to do it. They've already proven that. They chose to be disciplined. And they chose to be disciplined because they got two in the bank.
And has the way this is unfolded give you an inkling of something that you're foreshadowing, or what are you thinking? Because you brought it up Friday, and then you brought it up here to kick off training camp week. So there's obviously something that you're thinking, Johnny.
That's what I'm thinking. I just explained what I'm thinking.
Yeah, but you think
it might be the biggest hurdle to another Super Bowl championship this season. Being satisfied with the Super Bowl championship. That's why it's so difficult to win consecutive Super Bowls. That's why it's so impressive when people like Kansas City win consecutive Super Bowls, because you're fighting through that. Not that you can't. And most people don't even realize. By the way, people should pat me on the back if they're Eagles fans, because I'm sure Howie didn't even realize it. Maybe now he does. It's just, I called it insidious. It's just, you don't even know you're doing it until you frame it in a, like, how would I have acted if this? And there's no freaking way they would have acted the same way if they lost the Super Bowl.
I don't know what they would have done differently, but they might have had to make some big changes then to act differently, no?
Yeah, they would have had to do a bunch of different stuff to bring in players that they thought could get them over the hump, and not necessarily that it would even work. Everybody who wins goes through the same thing. And I don't know how you combat it. That's the problem.
Yeah, I don't think they did. I don't think they had a bad approach, but I hear what you're saying. Let's get to some super chats. We got Jeff Kerr coming up. What up, Jeff? I got some good stuff to talk to Jeff Kerr about today. Looking forward to having him on the show. Prince, by the way, thank you all for being here in the chat. It's training camp week, everybody. So the season is upon us. All right. We got July 21st today. They report tomorrow, July 22nd. They're on the practice field Wednesday, July 23rd. And a reminder to everybody, for those listening on Birds 365, Wednesday and Thursday this week, our show will be in the evening. So they practice in the morning, John, especially on Wednesday. John has to get down there early. Their first media availability is 9:30 and 9:40 in the morning. The first day, there's credentials. There's all sorts of different things John has to do pre-show. So we will have Wednesday and Thursday will be night shows. Friday, we'll have our regular morning show. But I will always have some content for you in the morning at 8 a.m. every single day. So you can always check in, but it won't be a full 2-hour Birds 365, depending on when the Eagles practice. So I'll keep you guys posted on the schedule all throughout training camp. Prince, thank you, brother. What's up, everybody? Hit that like button for us. Prince says, J-Mac, in the last 2 Super Bowl runs, they didn't change the team. They brought back almost the same roster both times. They had to pivot like the offseason moves. They learned from their mistakes. I do think it's a clear different approach this year coming off the Super Bowl than it was in 22 or 2017.
Oh, coming off the Super Bowl, they ran it back, and they probably shouldn't have the first time because they were an aging team. This time they're not an aging team, and they went the other direction. They embraced the youth. I mean, I don't have I said it multiple. I don't have a problem with what they did at all. So I think people are going to conflate that I have a problem. I don't have a problem. I'm just acknowledging that they were disciplined because they felt they had the ability to be disciplined. And if they didn't win that game, which is hard to imagine since Kansas City didn't get over the 50-yard line for, 9 drives or whatever it was. If they didn't win that game, they would have had a different mentality. To me, it's pretty obvious, but I guess I'm not explaining it correct.
Well, no, you're explaining it correctly, but you're also saying you agree with the moves. And I think that's where some people are like, well, if you agree with them, then why is it an issue? Because it was the right move.
It's an issue because I don't care if they win. You guys care if they win. Like, it hurts them in the short term. Like, because their Super Bowl window is open, and they might even win it again. But did they optimize it? Probably not for one season. Did they optimize it for the long-term goal of sustained success? Yes. But that's long-term. That's not short-term. Most people don't give a shit about 2027 right now. Like, this sets them up better for 2026 and 2027 than it does for 2025. And ultimately, if they get one over the next 3 years, I think everybody's happy. But I think everybody wants to win this year. I don't think they optimize their Super Bowl window this year. But I don't care. I'd rather be set up for sustained success. So that's what I'm trying to point to. They didn't optimize the immediacy of where they are. And they did it to optimize a longer term arc of potential success. I agree with what they did, but it did not optimize this season, is my stance.
Rashid checks in. What's up, Rashid? Good morning, fellas. I think they're at the point where they can take a chance on potentially talented players after achieving success.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Only after achieving success, which they have done. And it is human nature to let out a sigh of relief and say, whew, we did it again. It's just human nature. Nothing wrong with it.
Part of it. We'll see what happens. JD checking in. What's up, JD? We got the best fullback in free agency. What are you talking about, J-Mac? Happy ball is back, boys. JD, still fired up about Harrison Bryant. I love it.
Yeah, JD, I don't think he's playing fullback, dude. I don't know. I don't know what world.
But I love the guy.
I don't know what world JD lives in, but I wish I could go there.
Here we go.
Sounds
fun. Gary's the guy who sent me to NASCAR yesterday. Dirty Air checking in. He told me yesterday he was going to send this in. Don't kill me, John. But Nakobe Dean said he plans on being ready for week 1.
By the way, why would I kill you? Nakobe's said that that's his goal. I'm just saying it's a very unlikely goal. Of course, Nakobe believes it.
Hypothetically, if he is, and assuming he misses camp or a chunk of it, does he start then still if he is ready to go? I think that's the real question.
If Nakobe Dean is cleared, he is the middle linebacker.
And there's no ramp up period on him like we talk about some of the younger
guys. Well, there might be a week or two, but no extensive. No, he's
an experienced player. So
yeah, he's very high, not only experienced, but very high IQ football player. Vic loves him. No, there's no. Again, yeah, they're not. If he's cleared September 3rd, when's the opener? September 4th. If he's cleared September 3rd, no, I don't expect him to start on September 4th, but so there might be a small ramp up period just to knock some of the rust off, but no, he's not a guy who's going to sit to learn. Big trust him implicitly to the point he constantly said it a few times in the offseason that Jacoby's the middle linebacker.
Yeah, no doubt. Let's get to Jeff Kerr here. Got 2 more super chats real quick. Sorry, Jeff. Got a lot coming in. Alfredo says, if we don't win 2 more in 4 years, we'll be disappointing. That's a big stat. That's a high bar to set there.
Well, even the Eagles aren't going 4 years out. 3 years out, they're going. If they don't get 1 in 3 years, I think they would be disappointed in-house.
Killer Tomato says, is Noah Fant in the cards? I don't think so. He got released this weekend.
My God, they got 7 tight ends and 7
tight ends, but if they all stink after
Harrison Bryant is evidently an all-pro. No, they're not bringing in Noah Fant. No. But it kills me with backups. Again, backups need to be role players. Just put together the 53 best players. I know people want it. Like they got to play special teams. They got to do things. If Dallas Goedert got hurt, then you start talking about Noah Fant or somebody in that type of situation where you got to cobble something together.
Here's Prince. He says, we entered last season stating that the team would be prepared for a Super Bowl run this season. What are we talking about? LOL. This team could be better. I don't know did he mean could it be better?
I don't know. Yeah, it's tough to follow that one.
Entered last season. Prince, follow up and I'll get to it. Brando Shreds. What's up, Brando? On that 2018 team, Howie didn't make a mistake. They were an Alshon drop away from crushing the Rams and then the Pats. Foles' magic was in effect. Brando's trying to rewrite history, baby.
Yeah. Well, that would have been interesting if Alshon didn't drop the football, but you're making a lot of assumptions.
Yeah, that doesn't account for the whole next game, though.
Yeah, it doesn't account for the rest of that game.
Yeah, that's true.
Never mind the whole next game. So, yeah, but fans are fans.
Good stuff. Final one here. We'll get to Jeff Kerr. A little behind, but Nakobe started 3 races off this weekend for NASCAR along with Campbell. Yeah, I was there, Devin. If you missed the open of the show, I was actually there. I saw Big Dom. We saw Jahad Campbell, Nakobe Dean. It was an unbelievable event to watch, and it was cool to see those guys there. Devin, thanks for the super chat. Thanks everybody for the super chats. Got a ton of them today, and thanks everybody for being here as training camp kicks off this morning. Let's go to our main man, Jeff Kerr from CBS Sports, joining us right now here on Birds 365. You can follow him at Jeff Kerr CBS. Jeff, sorry to keep you waiting on a Monday morning. Thanks for being here, brother. How you doing?
Yeah, I guess football starts this week, right, boys?
Oh, geez, you don't sound excited, Jeff. What was that?
It's a grind, man.
It's a grind, Zander. Are you? You should know you're doing this.
I know. I'm trying to embrace the grind, Jeff.
Let me ask this question. Does the Kerr family use Jason of Beverly Hills for their fine jewelry?
They definitely do not. Those rings were pretty nice, though. I'll give the Eagles credit for that. They were really nice. I mean, I'll be honest. I'm kind of tired of talking about the Super Bowl. When are people going to figure out that you rank Jalen Hurts row for engagement? Period.
Well, that's
Stop getting mad. Everybody's getting mad at everything. And look, this is because I cover the Phillies. And I'm tired of this Eagles mentality when it comes to every sport. You can't be flipping out over your team losing a game all the time. It's so unhealthy. It really is.
It's true. It is well, it's definitely unhealthy.
Yeah. And look, Eagles fans have every right to be excited about this football team. They just won the Super Bowl. It's hard to go back to back. So don't say this team sucks when they lose 3 or 4 games this year. Just don't do it, because it's going to happen.
Well, I think a lot of them believe it isn't going to happen.
Well, that's the problem. They think the Phillies should go 162-0. They think the Eagles should go 17-0. There's a reason why these players laugh at people.
Well, look, they might lose a couple more games, but I think we can all agree that this team entering the season is still, every year there's 4 or 5 legitimate.
They're a legitimate Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think I think we can all agree that. Everybody in the chat and the guys on this panel right now. I think we can all agree.
If you said to me today, the Eagles are going to make it back to the Super Bowl, I'm not going to disagree with you.
Yeah, right. I mean, now everything has to go well. Obviously, we know how the game goes, and that's obviously a big part of it as well. But I don't know. I feel like the team's in good shape, Jeff. John, I want to let you talk.
They're in good shape right now, but you got to remember, it took a running back 2,500 yards rushing to get to where they needed to go last year. He ain't doing that again this year.
We'll see. John, I want you to run by Jeff, though, what you kind of ran by me on Friday and then this morning about your thought process.
All right, here's my thought, and I wrote about it. Everybody can see it at si.com /NFL/Eagles. But here's my thought. I was thinking about it because of the ring ceremony at the Ballers at the Battery, Jeff, in Fishtown, for those who want to check out the Ballers. I don't know if you can. It's sort of a country club-like environment.
Did they even officially open it yet?
I don't know. It's supposed to. That's a good question. Malcolm Jenkins is partially financed. Tyrese Maxey's involved with financing that thing, so it's supposed to be really nice. I'm not sure if they had the grand opening, so I have to check on that. But looked like a cool event for the players. Glad they got a chance to celebrate. But here's my thought process, Jeff. If the Eagles lose the Super Bowl, which is hard to envision because they dominated, but if they lost that game, so they're the NFC champions, but they're not the Super Bowl champions. Everything else is the same. Players perform. Saquon had 2,000 yards. They still have to deal with contracts coming up with young players who are developing into stars. Do you think there's any way there's discipline in this offseason? Do you think there's any way that they don't try to make a splash to get over the hump? To me, that's their biggest hurdle. That's the thing. Human nature of satisfaction.
Yep.
Breathe a sigh of relief. We won. Now we can do this.
This fan base should be treating the Eagles like how they treat the Phillies right now and what Dave Dombrowski did this offseason. It's
a good comp, actually.
Yeah.
Very good team.
Yeah, it's a very good. Everybody's on them. Like, John, perfect example. Everybody thinks I'm a Max Kepler defender. I got to see Max Kepler every day, right? Everybody's been like, oh, we told you he sucks since April. Well, I'll wait till the finals. I report some news that yesterday that looks like the end is near for Max Kepler. And they're getting what they want and they're still mad. So
I think Barkley's mad. Is that Barkley in the back?
Yeah, that's Barkley. That's Barkley in the back. It's Barkley in the back.
Barkley's like, yo, guys, it's football season. Cheer up a little bit. That's what Barkley's saying back there.
Yeah, Barkley's a little mad today. I'm down here. He's up there. So,
right.
Anyway.
Did Barkley get his ring? Because, you got to hire armed security. You got to hire armed security for your walks if he got his ring.
Yeah.
So anyway. No, I hear what you're saying. That's exactly my point. And I've said it pretty consistently. It's not purposeful. The Eagles want to win more than most teams in this league, but they took their foot off the gas. They took their foot off the gas. Their highest profile signing is Azeez Ojulari. You're telling me they didn't take their foot off the gas?
Yeah, that was an underwhelming move. And I like the player, but a lot of their moves this offseason were underwhelming. And again, this is what happens when you have highly paid stars: Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert, Saquon Barkley, and I just went on the offensive side of the ball. We didn't even get to. They're gonna have to pay Jalen Carr at some point. Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean. They had to let go C.J. Gardner-Johnson because of the incoming cash that they had to pay these guys. Everything was cash calculated this offseason.
Yeah.
Anything you
And
would
hey, maybe the cruise control's enough to get him another one, but I'm saying 100% they took the foot off the gas.
Yeah. I still, if I'm them, I'd still try to make a play for Trey Hendrickson. I would. Because I don't think they can win the Super Bowl without a dominant pass rush. And they had that last year. I am not sure they have that this year. And if anybody's trying to tell you otherwise, they're drinking Kool-Aid.
Oh, I agree. It's completely unproven, the pass rush. Completely. The edge rushers, not the interior.
The other thing, John, too, and I think we've all talked about this offseason with this pass rush. Yeah, it looks good on paper. But what if someone gets hurt?
Doesn't look
that's James Hunt does this and Nolan Smith does this. I'm like, okay, I'll buy that. What happens if somebody gets hurt? Because it's football. Someone's gonna get hurt.
Well, and God forbid if
there's always somebody that's gonna get hurt. I will push back on one thing, and I get your guys' point and everything like that. And yes, it was a little bit of an underwhelming offseason. Yes, all the free agent signings are Timu signings, as we've dubbed them here on Birds 365. Right. This team, after the bye week, literally destroyed the NFL. The only game that they lost was when Jalen Hurts got hurt. Like we're not talking about an average team's core players. This team is clearly assembled.
Well, they lost a lot of those core players, though, Zander.
Yeah. Zander, by the way, you were at a NASCAR race yesterday.
Line? I don't.
Zander, you were at a NASCAR race yesterday. If you had the fastest car 3 weeks in a row and you rest on your laurels, guess where you're probably at the next week? 15th.
That's very true.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You're saying they won 16 out of 17, which they did, but that the team, and that's why I bring back, that's why Nick Sirianni has put the salt pan on the R word. That's why I say consecutive. That team's not back. This is a new, as Jalen Hurts
I'm talking about the core. I think they have a core group of guys that has proven to be better than probably the most other teams' core group of guys.
It's insane, in my opinion, to say Milton Williams, Josh Sweat, Darius Slay, and C.J. Gardner-Johnson were not core players of the Super Bowl 59 champions. It's insane to me to say.
Darius Slay was a leader on this team. He was a captain.
Yeah. Well, I'm not even talking about the leadership aspect. I'm talking on the field. He was their best corner. I know people don't believe that, but he was the cornerback one. He was the left corner. He was the guy on the dominant side of the quarterback for a reason. Josh Sweat was your best edge defender by a mile.
Did Slay play? Because I do agree he was the best corner. But how
I ranked Darius Slay. I had to rank the top 30 players over 30 years old for CBS. Darius Slay was on it.
Oh yeah, it should be. Well, I'm not even talking about guys like Isaiah Rodgers who contributed and Oren Burks who contributed.
I think Isaiah Rodgers was a big loss for them. I don't think they were expecting him to leave.
Slay played 946 snaps.
That's a lot.
That's more than I thought you were.
And that includes the playoffs. So
now I will say this: I think people can get excited about this defense because who's the only guy 30 on this defense? Dory Jackson is even 30.
Harry Nickerson.
Oh yeah, Harry Nickerson.
The oldest.
Dory is 30 yet, by the way.
He's going to be 30 on September 18th.
There you go.
Harry Nickerson, who probably will not make this team.
No, he probably will not. He is the only 30-year-old defensive player on the 90-man roster, which is crazy. Crazy. That's another thing that we talked about. But, from the standpoint, they lost a bunch of core players. Now, to Zander's point, the demarcation line of why they're trying to look, if Jalen Carter wasn't here, they would have valued Milton Williams and pay him $20+ million, but they can't pay both. So it's, it's that rich people's problem of having too many good players. But the assumption that they didn't like Milton Williams, or they didn't want Milton Williams, or they didn't like Josh Sweat, or they didn't like Darius Slay.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying that. I just think that they're the nucleus that did return is better than I would say 95%, maybe more than the rest of the NFL's.
I still remember when we were talking to Milton when they were doing locker room cleanup. Martin Frank and I were having this conversation, and we're like, "Would you bring him back at 19, 20 million a year?" We're like, "Yeah, I think we do that." And then you see the guy get signed for 26 million, and you're like, "Yeah, okay, that's probably a good move for them not to do that." But that's just he was valued around the league. It's clear he's valued.
Yeah. I mean,
there's only one dude that left that I would have paid the money that he got to, and that's Mekhi Becton. I would have paid that to Mekhi Becton. Now, I don't know what the Eagles know. Maybe there's injury stuff there, but that's the only move I would have done differently. And I'm not that worried about that move because I don't even Stoutland, and he's got a revolving door every year that he seems to figure out with at least one of those positions.
Yeah, that's my least worry for that reason. Not because of Stoutland, but because even if they have mediocre play, the other guys are going to pick them up to a.
By the way, and Tyler Steen is good.
Yeah, but I like the run blocking ability of Mekhi Becton, and you talked about the 2,500-yard season. And I think if that's going to be your identity, that's just my one little thing I would have done differently. It doesn't mean they're going to be wrong. It's just one thing I would have.
They lost a shitload of playmakers on defense. A shitload. I mean, they lost big-time players,
especially on that line.
I can't believe everybody's just speed bumping over the players they lost.
What I get upset is, and again, I don't think this is fair to Moro Ojomo at all, but people just think he's going to be the next.
Oh my God, it's ridiculous.
I'm like, guys, can we let Moro Ojomo be Moro Ojomo for a day?
Yeah. Well, the thing about that, Jeff, is like a guy like Ringo, I could see someone being like, who knows? A guy like Makuba, a rookie, who knows? We at least did see Moro be very productive in the sample size he had. Now, I'm not saying that's going to extrapolate and he's going to be able to do it in a larger sample size, but we've at least seen some instance of Moro Ojomo playing good football.
He's also been behind Jalen Carter, Fletcher Cox, Milton Williams.
You can say the same about Milton Williams playing next to Jalen Carter. Oh, yeah, Milton Williams had a great year. Well, he played next to Jalen Carter. Jordan Davis eating up 2 blockers. You know, you could make the same comments about that. Is Milton Williams going to be the type of player he was here in New England? I don't think so.
The Patriots are betting on
it. You better believe they're betting on it. 26.
Yeah, but I mean, like you're right with everything you say. It's going to be more difficult for Milton Williams. In fact, I would bet that he's cut after 2 years because of the expectations of the contract. That's the nature of free agency. However, what I will not say is that Moro Ojomo is going to play like Milton Williams played last year.
And I'm not ready to say that either.
That to me is insanity.
You know what I think is insanity too? The thing that Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean spoiled a lot of people here because now they think the same thing's going to happen with Andrew Makuba. He ain't that.
Now that is something I can agree with. Like we are a little bit spoiled on rookies right now. Like we think all these rookies because we've had such good success. But that I agree with. I'm not sure about Makuba playing.
And by the way, I would be stunned if Makuba's not on the practice field Wednesday morning. He's going to get signed.
He'll get signed, right? We got a super chat here. Makuba signing today or tomorrow. What do y'all think? I think
yes, absolutely.
Yeah, he's signing. Who cares if it's today or tomorrow?
Yeah, it's coming. Most of the second rounders they made major headway.
Especially the ones around him.
Yeah. 63 signed. He'll be in. Don't even worry about it. Yeah, I mean, Ringo's another one who I agree with. Look, it's his 3rd year. You have to play him or you wasted his entire rookie contract. But the idea that he's going to be better than Slay in the short term? Fuck no. Maybe 2027.
You just need him to be fine. You don't even need him to be good.
Yeah. And then fine. CJ's a pain in the ass. I've been telling these people they didn't believe me. Now
well, no one wants to believe you until their words actually come out.
But I also never wavered and said, but he's a damn good player.
Yeah, he is.
And he's not, Andrew Makuba, again, maybe 2027. He ain't going to be CJ next year.
There aren't too many people like CJ on and off the field.
No. And, that's an addition by subtraction type thing, or that's the Eagles' belief. Maybe it is.
I do agree with CJ on a couple things, though. Like, he does present a different type of swagger that probably helps the team. It's
I agree with that, Jeff. I agree. He might be a headache at times, but I think that that's necessary.
I think the Lions missed him last year, even though he really was only on a 1-year deal. I think he was a big part. I mean, he was a big part of the Eagles winning the Super Bowl and going.
This is a physical macho game. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
Having a guy like that, I don't think is a.
You're not winning with 53 choir boys. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, and you know what? When he says the stuff he says about they're probably gonna. I said I don't think he's wrong there. Like I think he opens his mouth a little too much, but again, I'm never going to criticize a player for being colorful. I'll just say that.
No. But it's understandable why they moved on. But again, I think both sides can be true. I think he's a pain in the ass, but I think he's really going to be difficult to replace on the field.
Well, I can make an argument that while it's understandable to move on from him, then that was one of the moves this offseason that was probably not the right move. I mean, if you got rid of a guy because of an attitude, which I understand is a part of it and does matter in the locker room, and you're replacing him with a rookie and you're trying to go and repeat as a Super Bowl champ, and that rookie doesn't live up to the hype. Well, did you care more about attitude than what the guy can do for you on the field? I think another thing comes into play with CJ, and Vic didn't like how much freelancing CJ did, which is part of what made him a good playmaker. But Vic is a sound fundamental coach, right? He wants to win by setting up the right zone, not having players, get out of position. And I think that had something to do with it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, Vic's, that's why I wouldn't be surprised if, it's not Makuba, it's not Sidney Brown, it's Tristan McCullum in week 1.
Might be.
Yeah.
Because he lines up right and he'll do what he's asked to do. Now, ultimately, I think the lack of playmaking will factor in, and Makuba will get on the field at some point. But I could see early it being Tristan McCullum for that reason.
I mean, would you be shocked if Tristan McCullum had the best camp of those 3?
Would I be shocked? No.
I don't think I would be. I like Tristan McCullum.
Vic liked Tristan McCullum last year, remember. Now, I know Sidney had some injuries or whatever. Maybe he wasn't ready to play, but when Vic needed a safety last year, he went to CJ or to Tristan McCullum.
Yeah. And Sidney was having a difficult rehab, but and Vic explained that the offseason. Ultimately, they drafted Makuba to get that job. I mean, it's just a matter of how quickly you get there. Might be week 1, might be week 8. Might be next year, but ultimately that's the goal. And it's his job to sort of lose, I think, even though the Eagles will start. I guarantee you the first defensive rep is Sidney Brown as the starting safety opposite Reed Blankenship. I guarantee that because they're going to defer to the veteran, and Sidney is the veteran in that group.
I feel like Sidney Brown's back at square one because of the rehab.
Well, I don't think he bets what Vic wants. He wants coverage. He wants CJ.
I had him,
which is the irony of it all. But he wants a CJ who's not an asshole.
You can't have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah,
right,
exactly. Come on, man. I'll take the asshole if he can play.
I mean, John McMullen's an asshole. We love him.
That's true. That's true. Well, I don't know about we love him. Some people love me.
Man, that's funny. That is funny.
Some people do. Some people at the Eagles do.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
They value my contribution. Some people don't. It's part of the gig, man.
Yeah.
Jeff,
if you're popular in this gig, you're probably not doing it right.
That's fair.
That's
Jeff,
true.
what are you most excited about coming into training camp? I know you didn't have much excitement when you joined the show. You're like, oh, it's a grind. I'm like,
it is a grind,
baby. We're ready to gear up.
I'm acting like a player. You think the players like training camp?
Well, no, but I think they know that if they got 45 days from their home opener, and if they're not ready to rock, they're going to get their ass handed to them.
I mean, honestly, what the stuff I'm more excited about is, to be honest, I'm not even big into the whole position battles thing. I'm more curious of how people's bodies are going to be a year after the Super Bowl.
Jalik's on first look, man. What's Jalik? Jalik has got to add weight, which they told him to do, and he's got to get stronger. So yeah, there'll be a keen focus on Jalik.
Well, yeah, did you mean like that, or did you mean with the short off season, with the longer season that they had last year?
Both. You both kind of.
Yeah, well, because I do think that's a big thing. It's like, remember, there was also a lot of attention this offseason. All right, a lot of young guys getting a lot of attention. I mean, even Cooper DeJean. I'm pretty confident Cooper DeJean is going to be a great player again. But it would be fair to say this is a 22-year-old guy who really hasn't turned the button off once this offseason. I mean, the guy's been everywhere.
The guy didn't say no to anything.
Getting lifted up, all sorts of different things for Cooper. How's he going to be ready? I think he's going to be ready, but I do think it's fair to bring it up.
Yeah, I remember last year, John, like we were all excited for like Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, and then like Cooper DeJean's out for what, 3-4 weeks because
20 days it was.
Yeah. So it's weird for me, right? Because normally I get really excited for the rookies, and Jahad Campbell ain't going to be starting training camp, and Andrew Makuba, I think they're putting way too much pressure on the kid. It's
weird. The Vanilla Gorilla, everybody loves him. Ty Robinson.
Yeah, Ty Robinson. I mean, I think with the expectations a little too high on him too.
Oh,
I think
way,
the expectations
way
are
too high on him.
I think he has a chance to be a contributor in a small role this year because of the setup of what's in front of him with Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, and then more with Jomo. I know you talked about, you don't want to get too high on Jomo too early, but because of that rotation, I think Ty Robinson will actually have a chance to make a small impact. I'm not saying he's going to be a big impact, but I think he's going to have a chance to get on the field and play ball a little bit.
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, honestly, the problem is too we're not going to see us for a couple of days because they're going to be in shells and shorts. The secondary, Kaylee Ringo, Adoree Jackson, Makuba, Sidney Brown, Tristan McCollum. Maybe they decide after a week or two, we might need to get somebody in there at a certain position.
Yeah, that's if Justin Simmons shows up, it's a bad sign.
I agree
that things are not going well. And then, it wouldn't surprise me at all if they had added an edge rusher later in camp when they realize, oh shit, we better do something. Which again speaks to the sense of urgency not being there. I think they have enough at defensive tackle of Ty Robinson. He's the fourth man projected. That's fine.
I think they're fine at defensive tackle.
And if not him, Thomas Booker might beat him out. Byron Young might beat him out. So I think they'll be fine at defensive tackle. I think they're extremely deep on the offensive line, ridiculously deep.
Probably the deepest offensive line they've had.
Oh yeah, it's ridiculous. I think they have 14 NFL players,
and they're only going to keep 9 or 10.
Yeah. Now that doesn't mean you can replace Lane Johnson or Jordan Mailata if they get hurt. But I think there's 14 people in camp that deserve to be on an NFL roster, which is insane. But yeah, I mean, I don't even talk about the offense that much because they're fine offensively. That depends on style points and how they do it.
I'm excited for? My boy Jahan Dotson. That's what I'm excited for.
It's interesting you said that because I kind of was thinking about that this weekend. I feel like Jahan Dotson has a chance to have a decent season.
Well, I don't know. He's never going to be a volume guy here.
No, he's never going to be a volume guy. I agree with that. But
I mean,
but he makes plays when the ball comes his way. He makes the play.
I think Jalen's going to have a little bit more of a openness to getting him the ball a little bit more.
I had my colleagues at CBS laughing at the Super Bowl last year when Jalen threw the pass to Jahan Dotson. First thing that came out of my mouth was not nice catch, not nice play. Wes Watkins would have dropped that. That was the first thing that came out of my mouth.
That's what I mean. He scarred Jalen a little bit. Jalen's like, I'm not throwing to my third receiver. I'm throwing to AJ and Devontae. But
he's the best third receiver they've had in a long time.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. by far, I've said it pretty consistently, by far their best third receiver in the Nick Sirianni era.
I do. One of my guys to watch too is Terrence Marshall. Curious to see if he can get the fourth job or if Danny Gray can get it.
Well, that's like, what do you want? Like, you got to play special teams. Terrence Marshall ain't playing special teams.
Yeah, Danny Gray is.
Yeah. Johnny Wilson, do you want the blocker? I think they do. So I think Johnny's going to be here. And you don't want to see him playing receiver, but
it's like you say, you need a blocker.
Yeah. And Anaya Smith, manufactured touch guy. Avery Williams, manufactured touch guy. We have to see if Avery's healthy. They list him as a wide receiver. He's really a kick returner. He's not.
Yeah. He's kind of that special teams guy. That's why he's here.
Yeah. But offensively, they're rock solid. It's just a matter of what they look like. Should they underachieve, overachieve? But they're going to be top 10. They're going to be 8th or above because they've been 8th. That's pretty much their floor, I think.
Their underwhelming season was 2023.
Yeah.
On offense.
Defensively, though, there's a lot of room for a step back. A, because you're starting from such a high level. You have the number 1 ranked defense. And B, you lost so many damn good players. And you're counting on unproven guys to replace them. Generally, it doesn't work out that well. And I think a lot of it is, Jeff, in Vic we trust. Vic will figure it out. I think that was the plan last year.
I think it was too.
Nobody thought they had a great defense last year, and it turns out to be a great defense. So now it's almost like, well, he did it last year. Why can't he do it this year?
Well, I do think they got him a good base to start with. I mean, I know we have unproven players, but again, Keely Ringo, I might not know what he's going to do in the field. I feel pretty good that he has the traits physically to play the position at a high level. Same with Andrew Makuba. He is a little small, but I like his football IQ. I like the way he plays the game. He plays the game in a physical way. Like, I think they gave him good players to start with. It doesn't mean they're all going to pan out, but with a guy like Vic, that's a significant thing in improving your odds. I mean, if you give a guy, not the best players, then he's not going to have a great defense. But I think they've given him pretty good players, despite being unproven, for Vic to work with. A good canvas, if you will.
Well, hey, everybody who listens to the show knows how much I like Vic. But yeah, I'd feel more comfortable if Milton was here, if Josh was here, if CJ was here, if Darius was here.
I'd love to get the true serum out of Vic, like when he said about the Phillies, all the warts will show. I'm like, okay, Vic, how about your defense?
Well, he knows the warts will show. Well, he's been around for 40 years. Yeah. He doesn't have the number 1 defense every year.
Right.
He's been close a couple times.
Yeah. Well, he's had great defense. He always gets more out of than it should be. But if he's got 20th level talent, maybe he's got the 15th ranked defense.
Yeah. Do we think this is a top 10 defense this year?
I do.
A lot of that depends on, like, can you guarantee me Saquon's going to rush for 2,000 yards?
No.
I can't guarantee anything, but
never happened.
Then I think people dismiss the complimentary nature. If you can tell me they're never on the field because the running back is going for 2,000 yards again, yeah, I'd say they'll be bottom of the 10, 8th, 9th, somewhere in that range.
I just hate to be like negative with the start of football season because I am a positive guy, but like I don't even want to say negative. I want to say realistic. Like, every running back that runs for 2,000 yards, the next year they either miss a couple games or they just don't have anywhere close to that type of year. And we said, oh, well, Saquon's different. Like, and Derrick Henry's different. And he still broke his foot.
Yeah. It's difficult. That's why I think Saquon's not going to do anything in training camp, essentially.
I would basically put him in bubble wrap and say,
yeah.
That's probably what they're going to do, yeah.
Get ready for A.J. Dillon, boys.
Yeah. Well, yeah, nothing wrong with that because they have to figure out if he's healthy, by the way. And Will Shipley needs reps. So, yeah, I would let Saquon be very cautious. It'll work, obviously, but he's not going to do a ton in training camp, nor should he. But Yeah, they're trying to manage him as much as possible, but then when the games start, they're going to use him as much as they have to use him. And if he's effective as he was last year, then I think the defense is going to be great. If all of a sudden they got to throw it 460 times, then I think you're looking at probably a 15 middle of the road defense. So
I just don't want to see this team throwing the ball that many times.
Well, it all depends in my eyes, but I will say, like I said earlier, the nucleus of the defense makes me feel much better than the alternative. I mean, you got Jalen Carter up front. You got Nolan, who I know is a small sample size, but at least you know if he stays healthy, what kind of player he can be. I think Vic will help him get to that level. Jordan Davis, obviously, who's going to play his role. And, you know, it's an interesting conversation about Jordan Davis, but we talk about how sacks don't matter for him. Maybe snaps don't matter either. He's a freaking run stopper. You know what I mean? You can't gauge his success on how many snaps he plays.
He is improving as a pass rusher, too.
You got Reed and Quinion and Coop. Like, I feel like they're bringing back enough really good players at every level of the defense where they're not going to have this crazy drop-off. It's not like Vic is starting with a clean slate. He's replacing a couple pieces on the defense. I think this team is going to be a top 10 defense for sure. But maybe I'm wrong.
5 starters.
It's a lot.
4 starters, right? 5 with the linebacker injury.
Yeah. Well, I mean, week 1, they're going to be 5 starters down.
Yeah, week 1. So,
if there's anything this team is
the Kobe stuff is, again, and he's been saying that. I said it when he was in freaking clean out day and he wasn't on crutches, nothing. I said, boy, he looks good. You know, he was at the Palestra having fun when they went over there to play basketball. You know, you just saw your buddy down in Dover. By the way, Jeff, you didn't pick up your credential.
Yeah. I had to cover the Phillies in that awesome 9-2 loss yesterday.
But N'Kobe was evidently down there. You know, how good he looks. Everybody's been saying this for a long time. But Vic said he's not going to be here for a while. And I keep telling people, like, if you see somebody who tears their ACL, they feel fine about 4 months out. But they can't play because it needs a certain amount of time to heal properly. He's not going to be for a while. Vic doesn't lie. If there's one thing Vic Fangio has proven, he does not lie.
When's the last time you heard from Vic on this? So that was a couple months ago at this point.
But he still didn't lie to us.
June.
No, he didn't lie to us. But I mean, obviously, anybody who's had an injury knows that things do change, you know. And 5 months ago is when N'Kobe trotted out with no crutches in the Super Bowl. I would think he would have a better understanding now of where he stands than he did even a month or 2 ago.
It's a torn patellar tendon.
It's a year-long injury, if we're being honest.
So when do you think he's going to be back then?
Not week 1.
All right, well, give me a week, Jeff. Give me a ballpark.
Week 8. I'm being honest.
Week 8.
100% week 8.
Yeah, I mean, it depends what you're doing. Like, if you look at, and I've looked at it, and this is, you know, there's a big difference. Like, an average person can return to what they're doing in basically 4 months and be fine. But this guy's playing NFL football. And that's why the you know, with NFL football players, it's generally 9 to 12 months. Generally. Not every injury's the same. It's not you know, everybody's different. All that is true. But the Eagles' history is they're going to be, with ACLs, they do it almost to a fault. 9 months, 9 months, 9 months.
9 months is September.
And this injury is a little bit different than an ACL, which is probably the most common injury.
When did N'Kobe have the surgery? Like right after that Packer game, I think it was the Packer game he got hurt, right? The Packer
was
playoff
definitely
game?
It was between the champion. He wasn't at the championship game because he was getting surgery.
So was
it
it
was
the
either
Ram game he got hurt or the Packer playoff?
Packers game.
Packers
Okay,
game.
the first playoff game.
Nick was on the field talking to him after they won the NFC Championship game. He was getting ready for surgery. So I think it was a day or two after the NFC Championship game when he had the actual surgery.
By the way, that's another signing. I thought they may bring him back on the multi-year deal, and they didn't. Oren Burks.
Yeah, well, he got 2 years. I think they would have loved to have had him back at 1 year, but I mean, once it got to 2 years, again, they signed 12 players. None of them got 2 years, Jeff.
Yeah, none of them.
None of them.
It's very underwhelming. It's a Dave Dombrowski like off season for people that call the Phillies losers and the Eagles winners.
Well, I think they're both winners. It's just the degree of winning.
They both are, but people have unrealistic expectations.
Yeah, and part of that is the Eagles, but Philadelphia's right now it's like the NFC East as a whole. You have the haves, the Eagles and the Phillies, and the have-nots, the Flyers and the Sixers.
I ain't get me started with the Sixers.
The haves and the have-nots. It's like the NFC East. And for all the Union people, I apologize. The Union are pretty good.
The Union are first place right now.
I'm not please spare me with that. I'm not a Union guy. We're not gonna.
Some people are Union people. I have no problem with it. I like soccer. I like soccer.
I give the Union a ton of credit. They did not spend money.
Yeah, they don't spend money.
They basically did their fan base was so upset over what they did this past offseason, and boy, are they surprised.
They're in first place. Yeah. Are they on top of the table? Yeah.
They are on top of the table, and they went over like I think 2 months without losing. Like they are won or draw for like 2 months.
I love your encyclopedic knowledge of all things sports, but I am not going to talk about the Union when the freaking Eagles are going back to training camp. Take that and get it the hell out of here, the Philadelphia Union. Are you kidding me?
I'm looking at they are not at the top of the table. They are right behind FC Cincinnati is now on top
so then
of the
FC
table.
Cincinnati got 3 points this weekend. Okay.
Yeah. FC Cincinnati's got 48. Nashville and the Union have 47. So they're right there.
Yeah.
They're right there.
That's where you got to be, right?
Yeah. In the Western Conference, nobody's got 47. So they're second in MLS right now.
Yeah, the East is loaded.
And their goal differentials plus 17. FC Cincinnati's is only plus 8.
Yeah.
So that probably can't hold up. All right, you're getting Union talk. Love it.
On Birds 3, 6, and 5. See, we can do it all here. I know Xander wants to talk.
I'm looking at you guys. Just like got me in a bad mood. It's like training camp week, and we're talking about the fucking Union. You got
Union, baby. Union.
I mean, holy moly!
Guess what? I'm more excited for the Phillies trade deadline right now than I am the start of Eagles training game.
When is the trade deadline? This week?
Next week.
Next week. Gotcha.
Didn't they pick up David Robertson already?
Yeah,
they did it. They did. They got bullpen help, and everybody's still mad.
David Robertson? Are you kidding me, Jeff? You're not selling me on that move, are you?
They need. All right, here. I'll sell you on it.
Oh gosh, here we go.
Ready? How many prospects did you give up for him?
Okay, I'm presuming zero,
because he's a free agent. Oh, by the way, they're not done. They're still good. They're still looking at high leverage relievers, but this is a way to focus more on a bat.
At one time, David Robertson was great.
And he was good last year. Like he chose not to pitch this year.
I just don't think he is 1% of an improvement at all. Like I don't think he's even 1%.
When you've seen some of the guys in that bullpen,
No, I have. I've been watching him. I mean, I just don't think he's going to come in and be like, okay, now they are better.
Well, no, he's not the closer, but he's going to help you on the back end.
Isn't David Robertson like 40? And
he's
isn't
40.
This his 15th stint with the Phillies?
It's definitely his third.
Yeah, it's his third stint, right? Yeah, I knew.
Here, John, since you're a Yankee fan here.
Well, he was an all-star with the Yankees, but that was like 20 freaking 10.
Yeah,
Probably.
He is the only player that from the 2009 World Series Yankee team is still playing. David Robertson.
Yeah, he was great. He was
awesome with the Yankees.
He's been around a long time.
He was the best setup guy in baseball with the Yankees, but that was, 2010-ish.
They just need a guy that could pitch in the 8th and 9th inning outside of a Ryan Kerr.
You're more confident that David Robertson can do that than I am, but we'll see what ends up happening.
It's not even confidence in David Robertson. It's just knowing the guys on the team and what they're going through right now.
It's another arm. All right, guys, I want to go back to one camp battle. I was thinking about that. I don't know if we've gotten enough talk. And maybe it's because the fans are putting the cart before the horse, if you will.
Shocker.
Jalix Hunt. Jalix Hunt versus Azeez Ojulari.
I'm sorry. Well, the Eagles want Jalix to win it, but I would bet, if I were a betting man, I would bet on Azeez or Josh Uche.
Or Uche. Yeah, we got to throw Uche in there as well.
Josh
Jeff,
Uche,
what do you think about that one?
To me, Josh Uche is going to be one of my surprises of training camp.
He was in my bold predictions to be the best Temu signing of the offseason. I don't know if I'll be right, but it was one of my bold predictions.
He definitely was a Temu signing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Everybody was. I mean, there's nobody who wasn't.
Temu.
I think Zander needs to make like a Temu Eagles graphic, and we'll just.
I know. I could have
every time they win on Monday.
I didn't want John to get down there for training camp. And you ever seen that meme of the guy who walks up there? Who is that? Jamal Adams, who walks up to the door and it's locked. I didn't want them to lock Johnny Mac out for making it.
Oh no, they like Johnny Mac too much. They might lock me out.
Off-season shirt though.
Yeah. Yeah, they might. They lock anybody. Trust me, they would lock anybody out if they could. But I think I'm one that they at least think is fair, I would say, is how I describe it. But yeah, they'll lock me out. They'll lock anybody out.
Jeff, you think Jalix Hunt's going to win that job?
I agree with John. I think they like him to win that job. I mean, but look, Azeez Ojulari is a good pass rusher on the Giants for a number of years. I always thought he was kind of underrated there. It was just a numbers game why he didn't come back and change defenses around with Bowen. And I kind of like how he fits with Fangio. So he's a guy I'm definitely paying attention to.
Vic definitely has a style on the edge. There's no doubt about that. He's more concerned about being a flat defender than he is getting to the quarterback.
I keep telling people on paper, I like the potential of this defensive line, but one of these guys get hurt, man. It is not going to be pretty.
I'll tell you what, I would be interested from the standpoint of to see Antoine Powell-Ryland.
That's the Checo's boy.
Who I think is going to make the team as the fifth edge rusher, and that means he's, a heartbeat away from being in rotation. So I don't know. There's something about him that it's like, all right, he shouldn't be. NFL teams didn't like him because of his arm length and all that bullshit, but he just got home, and some guys just know how to get home.
Yeah.
And I don't see I put Nolan aside because Nolan's a good player. It's just a matter of how good. Everybody else, I think, is problematic, at least early. And if you got somebody who just has that, and half of it is just a want to and just relentlessness, I wouldn't mind seeing APR get a chance, but I'm not counting on him.
About Jalix Hunt, too, I know a lot of people got excited when I posted the stats from last postseason, but, to add more context to it, that was also with Josh Sweat and Milton Williams on the defensive line.
Yeah, well,
it's not here anymore.
I mean, the thing I think people don't realize with Nolan, and again, I think Nolan is a very good player, but we'll see how it shakes out. He's the guy now. He's not the guy. People will game plan for Nolan Smith now. They were like, we got to deal with Sweat. We got to deal with this.
He's the number one.
Yeah. Now they're going to be game planning to stop him. And I think a lot of people are skipping that step. Let's see what happens. And that's the impact of losing players. like losing good players. It's a domino effect. Guys are pushed down the depth chart. Now they're pushed up the depth chart.
That's why I try to tell people, temper your expectations on Moro Ojomo.
Yeah, but let me run this by you guys. Has Vic proven, or did last year's defense prove, that the Eagles and the way they're playing under Vic Fangio can be successful without the high volume sack guy? And what I mean by that is Josh Sweat was a great player. He played the position great. He stopped the run. He set the edge. He did all the things on the edge you want a guy to do outside of the sacks. He had 8.5 sacks. I mean, that's a good number, but it's not, you said Trey Hendrickson. He's getting 18 sacks a year. We didn't have that last year. Our leading sack guy was 8.5 sacks. It's more important for our edge rushers to play the position as a whole, better than just be a Hassan Reddick or a Trey Hendrickson. Now, Trey can play the position well, but then just be a sack artist. And I think that's where some of my confidence comes in on the edges, because I think Jalix showed that he was pretty good at that, very small sample size. And Nolan, surprisingly, a little bit for me, was really good at setting the edge and doing those things. So that's where some of my confidence comes in.
Counterpoint, the 2022 team made the Super Bowl with a record-setting sack season. And look, they probably would have won it if the field was good.
Yeah,
we're going to be
true.
honest.
It's just a different
it's a different way of winning.
Yes, it is. It is. It's a different way of winning, but I feel different about 24 because I guess the coordinator. I mean, I like Vic Fangio.
Oh, you didn't like Jonathan Gannon?
I didn't hate John. I am not one of the Eagles fans that is a Jonathan Gannon hater. I don't.
Oh, it's absurd to hate Jonathan.
Was he goofy? Yeah. Did he do some things? Yeah, for sure. But again, we had a pretty damn good defense last year.
Nick Sirianni's goofy in a way, and we love him.
Yeah, I like Sirianni. Sirianni's grown on me. He's grown on me.
Well, people listen to me know I don't give a rat's ass about sacks, but the Eagles' pressure rate was really good.
Yeah, it was really good. It was really, really good. Like it was top 3 in the league last year.
Yeah. That's what you got to replace.
And what's the reason for that? Is that because Josh Sweat was a great player? Is it because the defensive line?
That's because
is it because this deep, what in your estimation, why was that?
That's because they're all great players. Jalen Carter, there's a level of greatness, obviously. Jalen Carter, Milton Williams, Josh Sweat, and then Brandon when he's healthy, and Nolan but remember the process when it started. Nolan Smith wasn't even playing all that much as a rotational guy until the Rams game when Brandon got hurt, which was, I believe, November 24th.
That was week 12. So week 13, he started getting the regular stuff.
So, and he did a hell of a job. And I'm to me, with Nolan, it's just about now he becomes Josh Sweat. And that's a big leap up. That's a big step up not only from a performance standpoint, but from, as I said, a game planning standpoint, since he was the Eagles' top edge rusher last year.
Yeah, we were talking about Justin Simmons, right? And that would show you what they're doing at the safety position, or what they feel at the safety position.
Well, they were never bringing in Justin Simmons to be a backup. I think we'll bring him in as a backup.
Yeah,
you don't do that.
But if they brought in like a veteran edge rusher, like I'll say Zadarius Smith because he's the best one available. Look, to me, it's not an indictment on what they have. It's like, okay, we're just covering our tracks in case someone gets hurt.
But the guy to Xander's original point, the guy's doing the heavy lifting last year on one of the best, as Jeff points out, top 3 pressure percentage defensive line, were Jalen Carter, Milton Williams, and Josh Sweat. Those were the guys doing the heavy lifting. So two of them are gone.
Yeah.
And I don't think the Eagles wanted to lose both.
Well, I think they were prepared. They knew they were going to lose both, but yeah, they didn't want to. You never want to lose good players,
especially players you draft.
Yeah. So, I mean, those are the 3 guys that did the heavy lifting, and 2 of them are gone.
By the way, can we admit that the whole Howie Roseman, Tom Donahoe thing was like kind of blown up with Milton Williams and Aleem McNeil, since they both ended up being good?
Both are great. Both were right.
Well, I don't think it was blown up because one guy wanted one guy, the other guy wanted the other guy.
But you know how this thing works.
Yeah, I mean, that was
coming off a year where they were 4-12.
It's really what flavor
Or
did
11
you
to 1,
want?
I
And
guess.
Yeah, that's how I do it too, Joe.
Donahoe wanted more of the run defender. And it's interesting that Alim has developed into a very good all-around player, and Howie wanted more. And ultimately, they both turned into good players. Alim turned into a better player before Milton did, but a lot of the reasons Milton didn't turn into Milton is because Fletcher was here, and he didn't have the opportunity. And when he got the opportunity, hit a grand slam, Jeff Kerr, not a 3-run homer. Grand slam.
Kyle Schwarber that, John McMullen.
Yes. I mean, think about the history of the New England Patriots, and he's got the highest contract in New England Patriots history.
Although I don't think Patriots fans are too proud of their recent history.
No, not recent history, but
Yeah, which can be a little bit of an overblown term because the money goes up so much.
Well, of course, the money goes up, and that's part of the problem for Milton now. Because the first thing you're going to hear, especially because guess what? Boston is the Northeast too, is well, this guy fucking makes more than Tom Brady did. First thing you're going to hear.
Yeah, that's true.
You're right. And you're going to hear down WEI, and there's going to be a lot of pressure on this guy to be Jalen Carter.
Exactly.
How about, guys, did you see, how about the Lions already lost the defensive tackle for the year?
Yeah.
What's his name? Levy. What's his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
tough.
Really tough last round.
Something's in the water.
Enrique or something, I forget.
Enos Rakestraw. Is it? I think it's Rakestraw. He got hurt too,
I don't think I've got
serious.
the Eagles fans more excited last year. I think I remember I was watching the Lions play on Monday Night Football. I was doing the Monday Night Football blog for CBS, and I just decided to tweet. As much as I think the Lions are the best team in this conference, there is no way they are winning a playoff game with all those injuries on that defense and how bad they're playing. And Eagles fans blew that up.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. You to win a Super Bowl, I always have to say, and the Eagles know this because they were taught it by Andy Reid. The stars have to align. So, they got a bunch of injuries, and it's a shame. It's bad luck for them, but that's part of it. And that's why Nick talks about sustained success. You want to be good when the stars do align so you can take advantage of it.
The Eagles are becoming the Chiefs, John. They're getting boring. No drama. I like it.
Yeah. Well, very drama-free off-season.
Yeah,
very drama-free.
And which I like. That's probably why I'm like, with training camp.
But part of it is, again, they didn't make any splashes either. So, if any of the Temu guys was robbing a bank, I don't think anybody would notice.
Well, they just cut him.
I'm joking, by the way. But anyway.
They're already robbing people on Temu.
So, I mean, there's no high-profile moves either. So that's part of it as well. But, yeah, it's always interesting in Philadelphia with the passion of Philadelphia to get through an off season with not a lot of drama. And they certainly were able to accomplish that.
I feel like the drama was, how dare you rank Jalen Hurts ninth?
Well, that was the drama, 100%. That was it. That was the majority of the drama.
People. I'm telling you guys, it's when I read that executives, I'm like, well, guess what? They're pissed off because they didn't draft him and he wants something before the guy they picked.
No, I'll tell you why. I explained that, Jeff. You know why executives don't value Jalen Hurts as highly as, say, Eagles fans do, or even the Eagles? They don't want to play the way the Eagles play.
Yep.
They want to play a different style. So to them, they're looking for Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, that style of quarterback. They're not looking for that style of quarterback. So that inherently pushes them down. Look, nobody brings up why A.J. Brown is number one on this list, or Lane Johnson's number one, or Jordan Mailata's or Zach Bond, or this or that.
Yeah, but they don't want to be wrong about a quarterback, John.
Well, they're like fans.
They don't want to admit they were wrong about a quarterback. That's what they're paid to do.
They're like fans. Fans are never wrong either.
There's always something. There's always something.
Yep. Like someone.
I'm not saying what you said isn't true, John, but I think there's other things.
Always moving the goalposts. Look, it's obvious nobody has, and I and I said it during the ESPYs at the day after the damn ESPYs. They're out in Hollywood. Nick Sirianni's out in Hollywood. They're team of the year. They're freaking play of the year with Saquon, the reverse hurdle. They are the 1%, and Eagles fans don't know what to do with it. They are beloved. They are all
everybody loves them.
That's different though than quarterback evaluation on a list from executives and scouts.
Nobody has more players in those lists than the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, but the scouts only were wrong about one of those players, and that's
scouts were only wrong about one of those players because he's a quarterback.
Quarterback is the biggest value. John, organizations sell their whole draft picks to go and get a quarterback, dude. It's one of the biggest things for a scout is to evaluate quarterbacks properly.
I'm talking about people that think scouts are picking on Jalen Hurts or executives are picking on Jalen Hurts. Why don't they pick on anybody else?
But when one of them is filling out their list of top quarterbacks, it wouldn't surprise me if they move Jalen Hurts down the list because they don't want to say, oh, yeah, I was way wrong on that guy. He's a top 5 quarterback. I think they move him down the list.
You really think these guys gives 2 shits about somebody else's quarterback?
I do. I think they care about admitting they were wrong.
Because nobody has any problem admitting Lamar Jackson's great or Josh Allen's great or Joe Burrow's great or Patrick.
They were first round picks though.
There's more subjectivity to Jalen because of the way he plays. That's why he's such a polarizing topic.
It's so fucking exhausting. Everybody in the league fucking loves the guy. Everybody.
I'm just speaking specifically about execs and scouts.
They're in the league.
I know. I'm just saying that list at number 9, I think some of that was they don't want to put Jalen.
Everybody raves about the guy, his work ethic.
Jared Goff and Justin Herbert above Jalen Hurts. What? Come on, man. Wait, Jaden Daniels? He's had 1 year. Jesus. 1 year.
Look, it is broken. Man. It is broken. Teams do not want to copy the Eagles. They do not want to play offense the way the Eagles play offense.
We talked about this last year when everybody was upset. The Eagles aren't passing for this. And the Eagles are. I'm like, are they winning? Yes, they're winning.
Well, That's what they all like. You, John, that they don't want to play like the Eagles. I think it's because it's hard.
That explains it.
Well, they don't want to build an offensive line.
Nobody wants to spend 5 years to build an offensive line. Are they right? No, probably not. That's a different conversation. Nobody wants to play like the Eagles.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the evaluation of Jalen Hurts, not the way that the team play. You're right that they don't want to play that way. I agree with that. But the evaluation of Jalen Hurts, I think, is slanted because of that.
I say this all the time in football. If you're picking the game, let me see the offensive line, let me see the defensive line, and I can make a pretty strong prediction.
Exactly.
This isn't hard.
And that's why the Eagles have been so successful. And that's what everybody should be copying, but they don't have the patience to do it. And they don't have the willingness to do it.
Because it's not sexy.
Exactly.
That's what it is. And look, everybody in this town likes to shit on Andy Reid for whatever reason. The Eagles built their team off Andy Reid's philosophies. This dynasty that they're trying to build is based on Andy Reid and his philosophy.
Everything about this organization is based on Andy Reid.
But he didn't win here.
You won't hear me shit on Andy Reid. I'm an Andy Reid guy. I love Andy Reid.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I'll say it. If the Eagles, a lot of younger Eagles fans do not remember the 90s. They would not root for this team if they had that 90s run where they had 7 quarterbacks in 7 years and they were. Even the years they were good, you didn't believe they were good because you knew Dallas was better. You knew the 49ers were better. Green Bay was better. This team with their offensive and defensive line, you could believe they could win every single game. And they almost did last year.
Yeah, well, it's been a long, time developing.
I keep saying this team had Ricky Waters and Irving Fryer on their team. Irving Fryer was older, but he was a stud. Ricky Waters was a stud, but they had no offensive line at all. It was horrible to watch. And by the way, they had no quarterback as well. It was brutal, absolutely brutal.
Well, the history of this organization with the offensive line pre-Jeff Stoutland The number you got to go back. The number of all pros and even Pro Bowls between Bob Brown, who was really good in the 60s, and when Stoutland got here is unbelievable. Like nothing.
Yeah, like Trey
nothing.
Thomas and John Runyon were really good players for them.
Yeah.
And there was a year with Sean Andrews. Now every year, Pro Bowl, all pro, Stoutland just won the damn Paul Zimmerman Award.
He can get into the Hall of Fame now too, right? Can he? With the assistant coaches, or did they not?
Oh, he could.
Yeah,
he could, right? Because he's going. I mean, if he can, he will.
It's still hard, but he won the Lifetime Achievement Award for this year for assistant coaches.
I mean, it would not surprise me down the road if someone like Jeff Stoutland got in for like a contributor to the game category or something like that. It's going to be hard, but
so I'm trying to, because he set a record. As I'm trying to pull it up, that's what I'm trying to find. Like 12 consecutive years of no team has ever had that before. Ever. Like, I always, and Zander knows, I said, if I could give the MVP award to anybody, it would be the Eagles offensive line.
And you're not wrong.
So here, I finally got it. First offensive line coach since the merger to produce 12 consecutive seasons with a Pro Bowl player.
That's insane.
Nobody else has ever done it.
Evan Mathis was direct before he came to the Eagles. Direct.
And now
an all-pro.
He's done it a couple times where everybody on the offensive line has either been an all-pro, a Pro Bowl player, or at least a Pro Bowl alternate.
Yeah.
It's happened twice.
John, as impressive as that stat you gave in the 12 years is, it almost sounds like it's now beneath where Stoutland is, because he's even better than that. One Pro Bowler. I feel like the whole damn line could be all pro if they wanted.
Yeah. It's unbelievable.
Here's a fun little tidbit. No team has had two Pro Bowl first-team All-Pro tackles, both of them, since 1935. The Eagles have a legit chance of this happening.
Well, and again, I always bring up Mahomes in the Super Bowl, Tom Brady in the Super Bowls he lost, Mahomes in the Super Bowls he's lost. What is the common denominator? Except for the Eagles. When Brady lost to the Giants and Mahomes lost to the Bucks and the Eagles, what's the common denominator?
Pressure.
Yeah. Even they look like shit.
When I made my Super Bowl prediction, one of the things I factored in was, I love Joe Thuney. He's playing tackle.
He's playing left tackle.
That's the issue. The Chiefs couldn't figure out the left tackle issue all year between Kingsley Samadi and Wanya Morris, and it bit them in the ass when it was time to win their third game.
That's like a freaking day off for Josh.
It was.
It was. Like 2 years ago, it's a little different. Their offensive line was a little better 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It was actually the best offensive line.
It's amazing. It's amazing to me. People can't correlate when quarterbacks look like shit. Their offensive line is not blocking anyone. It is amazing to me that people cannot make that correlation.
No doubt. Jeff, last one for me, brother. We got to run. We only got 20 minutes left. I got some topics to hit John with too before training camp this week. I want you to give me one optimistic reason why the Eagles will have a very good season, and I want you to give me one pessimistic reason why they could fail.
Do I really think they're going to have a bad season?
I don't know. You tell me.
I guess what your
fall short of expectations. They're not going to have a bad season.
Yeah, I mean, expectations are Super Bowl. Let's be real here.
Right.
But I mean, if they have a good season, and I mean, like, go back to the Super Bowl, win or lose it, which is my expectation, I think Jalen Hurts, not that he takes the next step, but Jalen Hurts plays like an MVP. They throw the ball a lot, and I'm not saying a lot, but they do win games and Jalen Hurts throws the ball 30, 35 times. I don't think they want him to do that, but Jalen Hurts complements Saquon Barkley, and they can give Saquon Barkley a rest. So pessimism, guys get hurt. It's inevitable.
That's always. Yeah, but Attrition, I don't like it because that's built in. Like for every team, that's the one thing we all know that can affect their season. So I'm going to take attrition off the board, Jeff, and force
Okay.
you. If
Yeah,
there's
right.
one thing on the field that
On-
goes wrong, where's it going to be?
Yeah, it's the pass rush to me. It's the pass rush
Yeah,
not
same
getting.
here. Same
Yeah,
here.
I really think that's going to be the difference between 13, 14 wins and 10, 11. I really do.
I'm with you.
By the way, I don't think they're going to win 11 games. I think it's going to be more in the 12, 13 range. So
I think I had 13. I think I had 13, which I understand is a little lofty, but I do think they're going to be a really good
hey,
team.
we got to remember, I think we all know now September just does not matter anymore.
It really doesn't.
Yeah.
It really doesn't. But don't say that, Jeff. I want to get fired up for the games
But
anyway.
a couple of my buddies that cover the Bucks, they always like to send me in the group chat, especially the night the Eagles got their rings. They're like, it's amazing the team.
I think
They
September.
sent me the 255-0 graphic as a joke.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, by the way, this is the team that won the Super Bowl. Did you think that in week 4? I said, nope.
September, I'll say this, September doesn't matter until it matters. And by that, I mean, well, if you get off to a 1-3 start.
Yeah, don't start 1-3.
Now, if you get off to 2, you're fine. But at anything lower than that, that's a freaking disaster.
Yeah, if the Eagles start 3-1, this fan base is going to go
Oh,
nuts.
if they start 3-1 or 4-0, then the hype should ramp up because that first 4 games
It's
is
tough, yeah.
I'll
it's a
say that.
difficult-
I'll say this to everybody: you should be excited about this football team. I know we're.
Oh yeah, it's a very good team. Very good team.
They're
Jeff,
probably
talk
one of the-
about-
Jeff, that's a crazy comment to make after this segment. I feel like this has
Well,
been
you
the
should be
This
excited.
is
I'm
the
just saying.
pessimism hour, and then you hit him with the you should be
Well,
excited.
you
You're
should be
damn
excited.
right.
You're a fan. You should be excited about this team.
Yeah, fans should be excited about this team.
Yeah,
They're
makes
one of
sense.
there's probably 5 legitimate Super Bowl contenders, maybe not even 5, and they're one of them. So when you're in that conversation, you should be excited.
I mean, I'm about to kick the Hornets, Wasps, and Killer Bees nest today. Not today, but this week when I come out with my pre-training camp stuff and for the NFL, I'm telling you right now, I don't think the Commanders are going to be as good as they were last year.
Finally, somebody on the show
I think they're
that agrees
old.
with me about the Commanders.
I've said multiple times the Commanders should not have been in the NFC Championship game.
Even the Lions.
I think they were not ready for that game. That was my prediction before it, and it turned out to be correct. Things broke their way. They took advantage of it. Good for them. I think they're going to be better, but they're going to take a step back from a record, probably lose in the divisional round, blah, blah, blah.
My big thing was they won 6 games in the last 5 seconds last year. That is not.
Well, here's what's
Yes.
interesting about the Commanders, Jeff. There's a big dichotomy. They brought in Tunsil and Debo and Von Miller, etc. Still have Bobby Wagner. They got all these veteran, proven players on the back end versus the Eagles, who are all young with a serious lack of experience. That to me is going to be interesting to see which works.
That's what I like about the Eagles window right now. It's not just this year.
No, but that bringing back to my original point, that's the problem. They're looking at it in a 3-year window. We'll get one. We'll get one in that 3 years.
The Phillies are in that conundrum right now. They got a bunch of older stars that they want to win now, but I'm telling you, it's
Sense of urgency, baby. Washington hasn't won forever. They have a huge sense of urgency.
Phillies need a more sense of urgency than
Washington may not get their stadium in RFK,
but see,
That's
in a
all.
sport where you're not as close to Zander, you say the Phillies have to have a greater sense of urgency. The Commanders are showing a sense of urgency. The Eagles are not. Why are the Eagles not? Because they have won.
They
And
have one and they can rest on that.
That's where I disagree slightly. I think it's partly the nucleus. I don't think the Commanders' nucleus is anywhere close to as good as the Eagles' nucleus.
Their nucleus is Jaden Daniels.
That's it. The Eagles' nucleus is Saquon, the offensive line. You got 4 great defensive players.
Why is the quarterback the be-all, end-all until the quarterback isn't the be-all, end-all when the quarterback on the other side is the be-all, end-all?
Well, no, because we've already seen that great quarterbacks, even guys like Joe Burrow, who has a shit offensive line and is the best quarterback in football, they can't win without a team. You got to have a team.
The quarterback, there's so much goalpost moving with quarterbacks.
By the way, can I mention this about the Commanders? Will you just pay Terry McLaurin already? What are you doing?
I knew that was coming a while ago, but we'll see what happens. Jeff, thank you for doing it today,
that
brother.
guy. I'm trying to give him some advice here. Pay him.
I hear.
By the way, speaking of Nolan Smith, did you see what George Karlaftis got?
Yes.
No, what did he get?
Oh, and he's a stud, by the way.
He's a good player. Not great.
Yeah, I don't think he's
good.
Great.
He's good.
63 million guaranteed. I forget the average. It was over 30 million.
John, you're talking about that, and I'm talking about what cornerbacks are making, like Sauce Gardner. I'm like,
yeah. Oh God.
What the heck's the going rate for Quinyon Mitchell?
Yeah.
Karlaftis got that much?
Yes.
93 million?
The Chiefs love him. They love George Karlaftis.
Good player. Good player.
Well,
not great player.
By the way, how much is Trent McDuffie going to make? What a stud he is.
Everybody. I mean, it keeps going up and up and up and up.
Salary cap keeps going up too.
So everybody talks about the Eagles giving 40 to Jalen Carter. They might have to give Nolan Smith 30 plus. Not might. If Nolan Smith
got under 30, right? He got 4 years, 93. So he got like 24, 23.
I thought it was 393, but
I thought it was 393.
It's 4.
Is it 4? Okay.
Yeah, it's a 4-year 93. But still, 62 million guaranteed is a lot of money.
Yeah,
guaranteed.
well, that's the bigger.
Yeah,
that's the bigger key.
That is the Andy Reid, Brett Veach.
If it was 3 years 93, we'd have an issue because Nolan would be getting 32, 33 million. I think this is right where I thought. Honestly, Nolan getting 25 million sounds like to me.
Yeah, but it's only going up. Next year it'll be higher. And he's not eligible until after this season. So, yeah, crazy. The money out there is crazy.
That's one of my stories too for coming up. We're 5 teams that can beat the Eagles this year.
5 teams? I don't know if I could come up with 5.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know if I can come up with 5.
Yeah, well, you can. I mean, the Rams. To me, the Rams are the best team in the NFC. Then you start, the AFC, obviously, Baltimore and Buffalo are my top 2 teams. I guess you have to throw. See, the Eagles broke me on Kansas City. I think Kansas City stinks now, but that's partially because.
But no one in the AFC knows how to beat them. They just can't. Like, Baltimore should have beat them 2 years ago. They didn't. Buffalo should have beat them last year. They didn't.
Yeah. I mean, I freely admit the Eagles broke me. And then the Lions are talented, but I don't like the all the movement and the coordinators. San Francisco, I think, is going to be good. They're going to have a bounce back season playing the last place schedule.
Do you agree with my Seahawks being a sleeper team?
I like the 49ers more than the Seahawks.
Yeah, well, I think the 49ers are already talented. Let's just they were hurt last year.
And then Minnesota, I mean, the quarterback, who knows? Tampa's a good team. So there's a bunch of teams that could get better.
Green Bay's still really young.
Yeah, I'm kind of down on Green Bay.
Me too.
I'm down on the quarterback.
I am too.
Here. Yeah. I'm down on the quarterback.
I thought he was going to be.
I thought he had a really bad season last year. But if he turns it around, that could turn it around.
By the way, Eagles fans, you want to get excited? Your team's got the 3rd youngest team in the NFL.
Maybe too young.
Yeah, it might be too young, but the core is there, like what Zander says.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, Jeff, we got to run, brother. We appreciate you doing it. Make sure you guys follow him at Jeff Kerr, CBS. Great stuff, Jeff. We'll talk to you next week, brother.
Hey, question for you guys. If you guys have a Nightbirds 365, am I joining?
Yeah.
If you can, absolutely. If not, then that's fine. I will work around you, brother.
All right, sounds good. We'll talk.
All right, Jeff. Thank you, man. We appreciate you, brother.
See ya.
All right. See you guys.
There's Jeff Kerr. Make sure you guys follow him at Jeff Kerr CBS. We appreciate him for all the time he always gives us on Birds 365. He is a controversial one in the chat, which is always a good thing to have. Jeff, we love you. Thank you, man, for doing it. John, just 7 minutes left to go here on Birds 365 as we ready to kick off training camp week. I was supposed to take a break. We were supposed to do a lot of things, but that's all right. We got a little off schedule on a Monday. It's all good, but plenty of stuff, John, happening this week on Birds 365. The season is upon us, my friend.
Not quite. We got to get through a training camp, but it's getting closer. And
Am I wrong for thinking that training camp start is like basically the start of the season? I know it's not the season, but the 2025 season kicks off this week.
Well, I always like to say preparation for the 2025 season kicks off. Because remember, part of the camp ramp up now with the CBA, day 1, 2, 3, no contact whatsoever. Days 4 and 5, you got spiders and shells, nothing, helmets and light practice gear. Day 6 is a mandatory day off, and day 7 onwards, you can put the pads on. Now, it doesn't mean the Eagles tend not to put the pads on in day 7, but, it just means you can. So that to me, even when you get there, it's sort of like a steroid spring. It's still more like a passing camp more than anything. And then when the pads come on, you can really start looking at the running backs and the physical positions, the defensive line, the offensive line. But, going in, the Eagles' offensive line, I just talked about it, is absurdly good. And that to me means this team is going to be good. And even the defensive front, not nearly as good as it was on paper last season, but still enough to where you think it's going to be certainly in the top half of the NFL. That remains the strength of the Philadelphia Eagles, and is because they do it the right way, basically. And not a lot of teams do it the right way because they don't have the patience to do it the right way. And as I mentioned early on this show, I think the Eagles have 14 legitimate NFL offensive linemen on their 90-man roster. I guarantee you nobody else has even close to that in the entire NFL. I guarantee it.
We'll see how it all kicks off. I'm ready for training camp to get here. John, one other piece of news or one other topic I wanted to hit on real quick, just because we touched on it last week when the first news came. Now, and more NFLPA changes, John. J.C. Tretter resigned from the NFLPA. He's had an hour-long Sunday conversation, cleared up mistruths, whatever you want to say.
Yeah,
your thoughts about what's happened at the NFLPA. I do want to keep people updated because we talked about it last week, and I know you have thoughts on it.
Well, actions speak louder than words, and he's out, and he's out for a reason. And basically, a player not having the player's backs, basically. And I saw Pat McAfee did a long thing about, ever since he was in the league till now that he's retired, everybody in those positions have been worried about themselves and their salary and about being a big deal more than the players. And that has been the case for years and years and years. Hopefully they can fix it. I don't know if they can because they got people working against them. Obviously, the NFL loves the D. Smiths and Lloyd Howells and J.C. Tretters of the world because they get to push through what they want to push through, and they get to act like big shots. So J.C. Tretter can go on the record with John Jones or anybody else. And bottom line is, if he had a chance to be the executive director, he'd be the executive director. But he steered the players toward Lloyd Howell, and he was a dead man walking. And I hope everybody listened to the show the day that happened, and everybody was focused on the NFL and collusion. I said, this is an NFLPA story.
Right.
And Lloyd Howell's out, and now J.C. Tretter's out, because they're the ones that were the problem.
Big changes there. We'll see how it what all happens there, John. We'll keep everybody posted on it. It is interesting, part of the business side of the NFL world that we will cover here on Birds 365. John, everything is happening quick already with this season. I just got now another new breaking news story. Titans QB Will Levis undergoing season-ending surgery on his right shoulder. Now he's out. I guess you're going to have Cam Ward season in Titans. But, boy, a lot of injuries, John, popping up early in training camp here, man. Will Levis is out. Lions lost that defensive tackle. The Buccaneers, Tristan Wirfs is happening. He might miss the first 4 games of the year. A lot of stuff already, John. You know NFL season is back when you see the injuries popping up like crazy.
Yeah, it's always strange. I mean, obviously, Will was going to be the back. I mean, Cam Ward was always going to be the starter. But, you know, that was an injury that really happened last year.
Yeah, he dealt with it last year, I think, and then it got aggravated.
And it's like, you know, what are they doing? Not figuring out this till July 21st. It's like, why wasn't this taken care of after last season? So it's one of those things where I think, you know, injuries are, we talked about it with Nakobe Dean. Like, they're not all the same. They're not all, doctors aren't right 100% of the time. Like, I think everybody wants to assume, well, the doctor knows, the doctor. Shit like this happens all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Like, why is Will Levis not getting surgery after the season?
Right.
And getting it right before training camp? Clearly somebody fucked something up, whether it's, you know, diagnosis or whatever. But, yeah, unfortunate. And you're going to see that. You mentioned Levi. I don't want to butcher his last name, but Detroit already out for the season. Unfortunately, you're going to start hearing those stories now that all 32 teams will be at camp this week. So you're going to start to see injury stories as well, unfortunately, and that's part of it.
We'll see how it all shakes out. Johnny Mac, camp kicking off, brother. They report tomorrow. When are you down there? You're not down there till Wednesday, right? So Tuesday.
Wednesday morning, yeah. Wednesday morning.
Players will report tomorrow. It'll be all state media tomorrow. No Johnny Mac down there at the NovaCare. And then Wednesday and Thursday, guys. Remember, Wednesday and Thursday this week, there will be a nighttime. So when I say nighttime, I mean 6 to 8 p.m. That's going to be the nighttime time for the Nighttime Birds 365. So we'll have that Wednesday and Thursday. And for most days of camp, I'll definitely be here every 8 a.m. So if you're a morning guy, I'll be here at 8 a.m. every morning. Okay, every morning I'll be here. Now, most mornings I'll have John by phone for 20, 25 minutes. Wednesday might be tough, though, because he's got to get down there and get the credential and all of those different things for the start of the 2025 season. So we'll keep you guys posted on all that. John, your final thoughts on this Monday edition, the season, the training camp, the 2025 Eagles, this iteration of the Birds kicks off this week with training camp, as you called it, preparation.
Yeah, we're finally here. And we could stop talking about lists. That'll be a positive thing. So start talking about at least things happening on the practice field. And I'll continue to talk about how well-liked Jalen Hurts is around the NFL. Sorry to break that narrative.
Good stuff, Johnny Mac. John, we'll catch you tomorrow on a Tuesday edition of Birds 365, my friend. Well done. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thanks, all.
All right, there's Johnny Mac, John McMullen here on a Monday edition of Birds 365. The season is here, everybody. I'm fired up. I don't have much of a voice. I guess I was hooting and hollering at NASCAR a little bit too much over the weekend. Gary, if you're still in here, what a great weekend it was. I debriefed the weekend with my brother on the drive home last night. It was excellent. What an excellent freaking weekend it was. I got a bunch of footage on my Osmo, on my for those who know what this is, this is like a DJI Osmo camera. Like you can flip it this way, you can flip it long ways for real size videos. But so I got a bunch of stuff on this thing from the NASCAR weekend. That was absolutely epic. So we were there. It was really cool. I'll show you guys some of my footage. Z said, Z, how was Dover? Incredible, Rico Mart. Incredible, dude. Incredible. I'll show you guys some of my footage. Here's a picture of me and Gary behind the scenes. Oh, wait, I should turn off my blur. Let me turn off my blur. Here's a picture of me and Gary behind the scenes. That was day one. All right, you can see how much access we had, man. Like, here's the garages right in front of us. We were back there. I got to look at everything. The garages, the tires, you name it. I got to see it. There's my brother back there. It was with him back there. What else do I got? Look at the gas. This is Gary, this is one of my favorite things. The gas things that they use. By the way, you're talking to a Sunoco guy, all right? 94 octane only in the C8. All right? 94 octane in the C8. Look how close the cars were to me, though. I'm pushing it right by me, dude. Pushing that thing right by me. So literally right next to these cars. Let me get the day two. There's the Dover Pass. I have it in my kitchen. I don't think I have it right here. There's my Dover garage and pit pass. You can see that. Pretty sick. There's me with the Bubba Wallace Space Force car. So that's kind of blurry, but I have a better picture of it. This is me and my brother outside of Spire. I don't know if it's not really. Spire is the brand that that started the team that the driver that Gary works for, Michael McDowell, drives for. So they're a new team, but it was really cool. They brought me inside. Gary brought me inside the trailer and everything. Where's my picture of us at the Jordan too? There's the Space Force car. Space Force car is sick. Bubba Wallace's car. The Space Force guys were actually there. So that was really cool. Look, here's pit lane. Literally just walking down pit lane. I mean, this is so sick. Just out there with the cars. Build submarines. How's that for a sponsorship? What else do I got? Here's a picture of my brother and I at the Space Force at the pit thing. There's that. What else do I got? Oh, I want to show you the one video. Where's my one video? The one video shows you how close I actually got. Oh, this is sick. Wait, this is sick. So we got the watch from up in the pit thing. Yeah, I met a couple drivers, Ryan G. We met Michael McDowell too. So we're watching up there with the race engineers, basically. You can see they're like right behind us. And they got all like the data on the screen up there and shit. Crazy. So cool. I mean, that was so cool. Where's the video? Let me find the video. You guys will like this video. This video is sick. I'll share it so you guys can actually see it on the screen. Favorites. 38. Let me airdrop this to my Mac. One sec. Let me airdrop this. You guys will like this. Check this out. You pull this up. Yeah, this is pretty dope. Goes to show you how cool it is, though, to have a community of people like this. I mean, one of our great viewers here, Gary, Dirty Air. You guys know him in the chat. Well, he's been here for a long time. Dirty Air. He sent me to this, man. He got me full access, pit passes, showed me all around, got me waters. I mean, he did everything. It was really, really cool that he did that. Look at this. Look how close I am. That's the pit team right next to me. Ready? Watch the car come in. Right there, guys. Literally right next to me. Literally right next to me. I mean, that's not grandstands viewing right there, folks. That's the NASCAR cars right next to me. So pretty insane. It was really pretty insane. It was an insane experience all around. So I had an awesome time. I'm going to post up a video of that on my garage channel. Daz, you can say that again. You don't realize how loud those suckers are until you go live. Daz, literally one car on the track. All right. Oh, Dirty Air, I think I might have filmed you. I see that this is my problem, Gary. Right now, I got so much footage on this thing that I didn't get off it yet. So I got to look at like what's on here versus what's on my phone. I didn't film as much on my phone probably as I should have. But my phone camera sucks. It doesn't really work. Let me look if I have the video of you filming. Oh yeah, and you put your hand up. Let me look. Yep, here it is. Here it is. Let me share this up to the screen. I'll share this up on the screen. Now, you can see how bad my phone camera is. I mean, holy shit, I need a new phone. I don't know what's wrong with this thing. Blurry and not good. Let me pull this video up. Gary says, "Oh, did you film me shooting that one stop?" I got it right here. So you can see where I am in my view of this. Look at this. Share screen window. Let me pull this thing up. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Can you guys comment if you can hear these videos? You can, right? All right. So look, that's right there. The head race engineer. Gary, what'd you call him? I keep forgetting what he's called. Whatever his name is. Look at this. Look at where I am. Look at the guys coming into the pits. Here comes, that's Michael McDowell right there in that teal car. Crew chief, that's what it is. Thank you. Look, I'm watching right behind the engineers. There's the car. And then here's Gary. Ready? You guys will see Gary. There's Gary right there in the Eagles hat. There he is. Gary. Gary. There's my boy in the Eagles hat. I love it. So there's Gary. You can see what he does. He's got the camera right there, filming McDowell coming out of the stop. There's Bubba Wallace in the Space Force car right there. 375. There's my boy Gary right there. I love it. It's a great video. It's a great freaking video. So really cool. Really cool weekend, man. It was a really cool weekend. Definitely an awesome way to kind of end the off season. You know what I mean? To be able to do that. Hang out with one of our great viewers here on JAKIB. Gary, get to hang out with him a bunch. So that was pretty cool. But great weekend, man. Gary, great video there of you shooting the film, shooting the pit stop. Look, I picked up a couple Dover souvenirs, but on the walk out, right, as I'm walking out, I walked by the GM tent, and they had this Corvette hat, and I had the Corvette. I'm like, I gotta pick up that hat, bro. I gotta pick up that vet hat. So I picked up this pretty sick Corvette hat. All right, that's one of the other things I got. So awesome weekend. Gary, thank you again, brother. We're going to do something good for Gary. Don't worry. We'll take care of Gary. We appreciate you guys, man. I always say my favorite part of this business is the people. It's not talking about sports as much as you guys would. I like that. But my favorite part is the relationships, the people, the connections, and all those different things that come with it. So it was a great weekend and a really cool. I mean, I don't think I would have ever experienced that had Dirty Air not been here. I don't think I've ever would have experienced NASCAR like that. So I'm a fan. Gary, my brother's talking about I got to get on a car because my brother works in material science in New York, and he's got his own business. They just raised a bunch of money and everything up there. And Space Force is one of the departments of the government that basically they would sell materials to. So he's like, I got to get my name on a car. So Gary, last night on Instagram, I got this ad from Spire Motorsports. Want to make a change? And then right here it says sponsorship opportunities available. I sent that to my brother. He's like, all right, I got to fill that out. I'm like, yeah, you will. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. Awesome event. Awesome weekend. And training camp is here. Training camp is here. All right. So I'm fired up. I'm fired up for the Eagles season. I'm fired up for the Eagles season. I will, Gary. I'll tell him. I sent him your number. Did he shoot you a text or no? I sent him your number. So I'll keep you posted on that. But great stuff. Are they about to sign Makuba? Hopefully. It'll come. Guys, I'm not worried about it, bro. I'm not worried about that. I think the Makuba deal. Oh, he did. All right, cool. Yeah, man, we had such a great weekend, bro. We're so grateful for you. It's one thing to send somebody. It's another thing to go out of your way as much as you did to take care of us, make sure we saw all the things we saw. It was really a very, very unique experience. I would reckon that 99% of people who watch NASCAR and are fans of NASCAR never get a chance to do what I did. I mean, we got to go in the trailer. We got to see all of the cars up. I mean, I'm like literally right next to the cars watching these guys change out the wheels, the tires. I mean, it was so cool. It was so cool. So major love, major thanks to you, bro. As long as he's signed by August 5th, he'll be signed well before then. August 5th, that's 2 more. That's what, 3 weeks? He'll be signed before then. All right. He'll be there. Yeah, Ryan, I guess you're a NASCAR fan. That's what Gary was telling me. McDowell really thrives at a road course. Yeah, so I thought he had a good race though. I think he finished 13th. I thought he had a pretty good race. That's a cool track, man. They really, but I think I timed it, Gary. I timed it, and obviously they have official lap times, but I timed it on my end because I wanted to see. And I did 5 laps, and every lap was like 23, 24 seconds. I think it was 24.5. Right in there was the stopwatch I had. So, yeah, fans of cars would love for that. Absolutely, Zeal. It was really awesome. Really, really awesome. So, it's been a fun couple of weeks. You get the C8. Brother gets the C8. Then you're at NASCAR looking at Chevy up close and personal. It was awesome. Chevy, the Fords, the Toyotas. It was awesome. So great weekend. All right, everybody. I appreciate all of you for being here. Peter Riley, thanks for the super chat. What's going on, fellas? Go Birds. Go Birds, brother. Alfredo checked in. Devin was in here. Brando's in here. Prince, thank you, Prince. There's Dirty Air with a super chat. Thank you, bro. Alfredo again. Killer Tomato. Rashid, JD, Prince. Thank you guys all for all the super chats today. Average at Dover is 160 miles an hour. That's why, Gary, one of my funniest takeaways of the weekend was I get a kick out of people who are like, they just go left. They just go left. I'm like, all right, hotshot. Let's see you behind that fucking wheel going around a track at 160 miles an hour, car to car with people all over the place. You got high stress. You're going around corners. You're trying not to crash. I mean, it's unreal what they're doing. So, when am I going to driving school? Rico, I want to go to that Ron Fellows driving school at some point. So I don't know when. Probably not now until after the season. The Eagles season is upon us. So maybe not until after the season. Maybe we'll go to a track though before then. Take the C8 to a track would be pretty fun. But all right, everybody, I appreciate you all. Love you all. Big thanks again to my boy Dirty Air, Gary. Gary, now I'm conflicted because I've called you Dirty Air my whole life until, since I met you, because you're Dirty Air in the chat. By the way, he explained what Dirty Air means, so now I know what Dirty Air means. But now I know you as Gary. Now what do I call you on Jacob? I have to call you Dirty Air because that's what the people know you as. All right? That's what the people know you as. Wow, Zeal, you went to Ron Fellows? Zeal, you got to hit me up about that. Zeal, can you DM me? I told you, I don't know if you were in here last week. I said to my brother, I'm like, I'm not a drinker. That's not how I have my fun. Like my bachelor party, whenever that comes, I want my brother and I and my dad to go to Ron Fellows. All right. I want to go to Ron Fellows. I feel like that would be awesome. So yeah, Corvette school. That's sick, dude. That's sick. All right, everybody. I appreciate all of you guys for being here. A great show today. A great weekend this weekend. And here we go. Now we got the camp coming up, bro. We got camp coming up. They report tomorrow. They're on the field Wednesday and Thursday this week. No media access on Friday. And then I believe they have a weekend of camp as well. So should be a pretty good upcoming couple of weeks here with training camp. We'll be following along. We're getting more intel on the team and all those different things. And we'll talk about it all here on Birds 365. So thank you all for being here. Hit the like button. We did have a great crowd in here today, which I appreciate very much. And I'll see you next time, everybody, on Birds 365.
You've been listening to Birds 365, the destination for the passionate Eagles football fan who bleeds green. If it's Eagles football, we're talking about it. Debate, inside the locker room, and guests that are some of the greatest football minds from around the region. We hope you enjoyed the show. We know we had a blast. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, hook up with us on social media at JAKIB Sports. See you next time on Birds 365.